So I'm gonna start by saying bear down. Proud of my team and what they've done and all that jazz, turning the season around from nobody to somebody. But I need to address some things that I continue to hear in the media and in the podcast that I believe are sort of merited, we earned it, and sort of not merited, we crying for type of stuff. So people keep asking why the Bears don't get any respect in the ratings and the rankings. And they keep saying we want our respect. And I'm so over it. You know, here's the thing. You get respect for your history, for your legacy. Ours is a legacy of losing, so why we have respect for having a good season? And it's not a good season until it's over. So if we lose the next 3 games, this week 15 coming up, then it's just a decent season, a turnaround season. All right. Now, if we win the next 3 games, now we've got a playoff season. That's still not a championship season. It's just a playoff season. Okay. So we don't earn respect until after the deed is done, and we are in the middle of the act of it. So I do believe we benefit from not having people's respect because they don't look at us the same way. Green Bay Packers gave us respect, and that's why we lost that game, because they respected us and they edged us out and they didn't bite up on the last play of the game. So this is I don't know if people realize it, this is our 3rd game against Green Bay where it's come down to the last play over the last 2 years. Yeah. So even with Matt Eberflus as coach, we were losing to Green Bay by just a play, right? And now the thing about it was the first game last year in Chicago against Green Bay, we lost because the refs didn't respect us, not because of anything else. We're losers on paper. So when the ball gets hiked and you blow up the center for a field goal, that's illegal. But since we're losers, nobody cares. So when our center got completely decleated while he was in a defensive position, nobody threw a flag because we were supposed to lose that game. That's who we are. We've been losers. That doesn't change our love for the team. Now, this season will make us look a little different, but we still have, let's see, I was born in 85, 40 years since then that we haven't gotten a ring. And it was 16 or 06 when we gave the game away by throwing interceptions instead of running the ball. So it would be great to change the attitude that people have towards Chicago. But with that comes, we would get that, oh, these guys are winners attitude, and they would treat us like Patrick Mahomes and his team. When you start winning a lot, people really, really study you and really prepare for you. And here's the thing about it. 2 things that I'm really on my mind about. So the idea is, first off, you wanting to be put under the spotlight every game, you wanting that respect, but you can only win games. Like, so evaluating the Bears off of beating Shedeur Sanders and the Browns is crazy to me, because everybody here is professional. Every one of these guys on these teams works hard, plays hard, period. The difference between a winning team and a losing team is leadership. The difference between a championship team and a winning team is chemistry. Okay, so they neither have good leadership nor good chemistry. So therefore they have 3 wins on the season. That was us last year. Okay, so it's it's nothing to beat that team. So when a team is on the field facing another team, we are doing the things that we practice. Okay, so how difficult do you make it for my team to practice when you're standing there is what it comes down to. So what I will give Bears credit for is they make it difficult to run those routine things that you would do in practice a lot of the time, maybe 60% of the time. That's why we have wins, because 6% of what you try doesn't work like you practiced it. But there is still at 40%. There is still those deep routes where nobody's covering the guy that happened. So although we do have a lot of takeaways, we also have a lot of like blown coverages, and we have more takeaways and blown coverages, I would say, by our record. But we are not elite. We are not a juggernaut because we roll over one of the worst teams in the league. We just went out and ran practice, and they couldn't stop us from the things that we practiced. That's how the game works, in my opinion. Okay, so even if we didn't, because obviously, as you watch the game go out, there are times when we should have got to the quarterback. There are times when their quarterback shouldn't have gotten to us. There are drop passes. There are blown coverages. These are all things that we practice and fail to succeed at live in the game. It just is what it is, okay? So beating this team that probably doesn't practice well, probably doesn't have good leadership, definitely doesn't have good chemistry, because you got a rookie quarterback who's been mistreated since he went up for the draft, basically, and now he's under the pressure of everybody else to live up to his father's, fame. Like, yeah, it's a whole kind of crappy situation. Now, losing that game would be terrible, but we had to win that game, and so now we're back at the Pack. They're coming to our house, and everybody's like, put some respect on us. We're supposed to win this game. We are not supposed to win this game because, honestly, any team that's looked good and executed well, like they practice, has beaten us, okay? If we can't interrupt your practice schemes, your ideal setups, you will beat us. But that's the logic of a football game or any sport. So my other thought is, the reason why we don't get respect is because we have a bunch of loser fans who cheer when other people get injured. And that is just the wrong way to do it. That I want to beat the Packers with Micah Parsons. Okay, and we almost did. We were literally one play away from tying the game, sure, but we didn't. And that's all that counts, wins and losses. So, without Micah Parsons and Christian Watson and whoever else they lost, it's not the same Packers. And I get it. We had injuries when we played, but we don't do that like same. No, we need to win no matter who we have on the field. We have something to prove for 10 years of losing, what is it, like 21-3? How many wins and losses we have against them since Brett Favre or something? It's crazy. And that's probably not the right number, but it's like they have double digits and we have low single digits on wins against them. We need to do something about that. So we don't have time for excuses about, our number one was out, so we had to use number two. And look at us. We played with backups and we came within one play of winning. Now, that's how people look at the game. I would say there was about 8 other plays that we didn't execute on that would have helped us to win as well. One of those, or many of those, being, if your job is to receive the ball while running through the air in a forward pass motion, catch the ball. Clearly we're not practicing that enough. Maybe they need to not wear gloves in practice. Maybe they need to have cold hands in practice. Maybe we need to figure that part out, because we keep touting how good Caleb Williams is and then cutting him back for his accuracy when he's hitting receivers in the hands. And I'm not a huge like, this is the greatest thing ever. He's a really good quarterback, especially for as young as he is. I think that he will be a Hall of Famer if he's in the right situations, because RG3 could have been a Hall of Famer. I think Justin Fields could have been a Hall of Famer with the right coach. And people might laugh at that, but you look at Jeff Goff and Matthew Stafford. Both of them at the Lions under their own coach were terrible quarterbacks. Both of them under Sean McVay were great quarterbacks. And now Goff is a good quarterback in Detroit even now, So it comes down to the system that you put the player in. Brady is the greatest of all time. He was drafted 6th round. Put in the right system. If Brady would have went to the Bears, Brady would have had a 4-year career, and he would have been injured or never traded and never picked up. So let's just not think about it as it's all on the quarterback. He's got to have the right opportunities. But either way, here's what I equate these fans. So here's the fine line between it. It's like this. In football, You want to rip the other guy's head off. Yes, that is proper etiquette. But once the head is ripped off, you stop celebrating if it actually gets ripped off, which is a weird dynamic to think about, okay? Yeah, you want to tear his head off, but if you do, all right, chill, man. Like, somebody got hurt. That's football. And that makes as much sense as for women, it would be like going to the gym wearing a swimsuit, basically, but not wanting people to look at you. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't make sense. You are clearly here for something else, and then when that happens, you're like, I'm not here for that, you know? Yeah, that's what we do in football. But when you cross the line, and especially if we didn't even injure him, somebody else, it was actually he got hurt with no contact. He blew out his ACL with all effort. So it wasn't even like he got hit and injured. He just had a bad turn on the knee. So we can't even take credit for taking him out of the game, but we were over here clapping it up and hee-hawing about a dude getting injured, putting in maximum effort, trying to get a title, trying to support his family and get those bonuses. That is some unbelievably lame attitude. And no, so we as fans really need to sit back and check ourselves and our other fans who, in any sporting arena, celebrate somebody being hurt. Now, if it was us and we went in and we knocked him out of the game and we hit him hard enough that he didn't want to play anymore, that's different. Now we can at least own it and say, yeah, well, you know, he learned when he played us. We were nowhere near him. We're just happy that somebody else took care of our light work, basically. That's lame to me. So, this is the problem. This is why the Bears don't have any respect. And again, I don't want your respect. We'll take blood. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't need you to respect us. Just stand up there and let us hit you with our best shot, and vice versa. And where the chips fall, they may. So here we have the Packers coming up. This is our 15th week, I want to say. And if we lose, the Bears still suck. It's just what it is. No matter how good your season is in Chicago, if you lose to the Packers, you still suck. Because the Packers might not even make the playoffs. Now, we could still make the playoffs losing to the Packers twice, which would be a disgrace. And once you're in the playoffs, it's a whole new season. We understand that. But then, if you just shun off the fact that you lost to the Packers twice, are you even a real Bears fan? If it doesn't matter to you, it's just football, and you don't like, I would rather go 2-16 if it meant I beat the Packers twice than lose to the Packers twice and happen to make it into the playoffs because they're not in there. Like, that's not winning to me. That's just not falling far enough to not get an opportunity. And if we lose to the Packers twice, we're not going to beat the Rams. We're not going to beat the Seahawks. We're definitely not going to beat the Bills. So it's not like we're going to go anywhere in the playoffs. At one point or another, we're going to be stopped. And if we come in at a low seed, it's going to be pretty early. So here's what we have to do as Chicago Bears. We have to shut up and put in that work. This team it's a bunch of young boys, you know what I mean? They're just out here doing what they can. As fans, we need to be more classy. We need to figure out what it means to be in this rivalry and how we want to earn it. When we beat Pittsburgh without Rodgers, that sucked. Didn't want to lose to Pittsburgh, don't get me wrong, but without Rodgers, there was some of the flavor off of that steak. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't feel that way, then you don't truly hate the Packers. And to me, if you don't hate the Packers, you aren't a real Bears fan. You just aren't. You just like football, you know? And that's cool. You can be like that. But whatever, man. That's a little bland for me. It is about rivalries. It's about the get back. And we got about 19, 21, 30 of them things we got to get back because we used to be in the lead with this thing. We are behind. So my number one goal in all of any season is to beat the Packers. Number two, make the playoffs. Okay? That's how it's going to be. It might seem like a loser attitude to you, but it's not. It's not a loser attitude. It's about the respect that you want is sitting in Green Bay on their fireplace mantle. You got to go take it. That's simple as that. Until we're the best team in the NFC North, nobody's going to respect us anyway. And we can't prove that without a sustained history of beating the Packers. So until we do that, let's just leave respect out of the question. Disrespect us. We don't care. We're going to make it difficult for you. We're going to get some takeaways. We're going to throw some nice passes. They may or may not be caught, but we're going to throw them. Now, talking about nice passes, before I check out on here, this pass to Moore in the back of the end zone on double coverage doesn't work against a team that's actually put together. Sexy photo, looks real cool. Try that on the Seahawks. Try that on a team who knows how to play D-back. That'll work against us. We can get caught on in double coverage. But a real team, I mean, that it was a sweet spot. It was the only place where he could have caught it. But one of those two D-backs should have been up there with him, or at least hit him. That doesn't work against a real team. So that's a full-out practice play that we got lucky enough that they weren't good enough to defend. That's all that is. And we don't need to take it any farther than that. Let's not act like that was a smart decision to throw in double coverage. Because if one guy's double covered, that means something else has got to be open, right? If nothing else, the quarterback can run for the first down and get a better play. But I'm glad we caught it. And the photo, I definitely screenshot that joint because it looks cool. But it only works if the other team sucks. Bear down. Let's get this win.